What's up guys, it's Mantis here, and today in this video we're going to be talking about the follies I'm still seeing in Fallout 76. I want to start this video by saying I've played a lot of Fallout 76, and though I haven't really gotten myself ingrained in the community or anything like that, I want to say that I know that there's a lot of wonderful people in the community that put a lot of creative ideas to work in what has become of Fallout 76. I'm not here to rain on that parade. I'm not here to say that you're wrong for having fun in Fallout 76. More power to you if you do. Spend your money the way you want to. I'm not here to, roast people about the Atom Shop. I'm not here to roast people about Fallout First memberships. I'm a Fallout First member when it comes to Fallout 76, if we're really breaking everything down. I actually think that the game, it's both a bittersweet thing, because with Fallout First, I feel like you're not getting the real game unless you get it, because especially the stash, all that kind of stuff. But that's not really what I'm talking about today. But I do want to say that anything that I touch on when it comes to, oh, I don't like this becoming, Fallout, I don't like this being in Fallout, I don't want to act like I don't like the community or the creativeness or the fun that somebody's having with something. By all means, people do it in Minecraft as well. They build their stuff, they have fun. Go out there and have your fun with it. I mean, it's your game. Have the fun that you want to have in it. I'm not here to police that, but I am going to be talking about like how it just doesn't feel like Fallout, and it has not felt like Fallout since its release, but it's become even more distant to what I've always recognized Fallout as. And so that's something that I want to talk about, and some of the community creations will probably be involved because of that, just as using examples of like, it's weird to see this in Fallout. I am in no way saying, oh, this is bad, don't like it, you can't do this, nothing like that. I just want to clear that up because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings when I am talking about this. It's hard to relay those kinds of messages in text, so I figured making a video explaining exactly what I'm talking about is a much better way of kind of explaining what I see wrong with Fallout 76 to this day. It's also important to mention, like right up front, like of course there's things that are Fallout-esque in Fallout 76. I understand somebody is going to be like in the comments like, Super Mutants, Brotherhood of Steel, hello, that's Fallout. I understand where you're coming from. Of course there's stuff in Fallout 76 that is coming from Fallout, that is themed as Fallout, but what I mean as it's the whole vibe of Fallout 76. I don't really see anything Fallout related anymore. And what I mean by that is not the set pieces of the Brotherhood of Steel or the Super Mutants or the Deathclaws or Vault Boy being on everything. That's not what I'm referring to. Vaults being there. Of course there is Fallout things in Fallout 70. It wouldn't be a Fallout game without it. What I'm referring to is on the grand picture, on the big scheme of things. The entire vibe of the game doesn't feel like Fallout, and therefore I see there is nothing Fallout about 76. But I want to take a step back real quick and actually talk about something I enjoy about the game, something I think Fallout 76 did well, and that is the world map. I think the world map is probably one of the best in the series. The ability to see all these different biomes and to explore this giant, it's an enormous world, and the weather is fantastic, and everywhere you go has this unique feel, and it's built up really, really big, and there's just so much depth to it that I cannot sit here and pretend that there's not some things that I think 76 did well. And the map is the shining example to me of like, wow, that was really good work. The cryptids are another one. I think the creature design and the new things that you see in the wasteland and the stuff that you're battling in Fallout 76, I think they did a really good job on designing new stuff like that. But again, like I mentioned, especially the cryptids. So I would say the world map and the cryptids like Mothman, Wendigo, things of that nature, Grafted Monster, those guys, I think that's a really cool addition to the Fallout series. So, and I'd love to see Juan Amigos make a return if we're on that note, because I mean, we have floaters now. Come on, it'd be pretty cool. But I'm just saying, I enjoy the map of 76, and I do think that's like its strongest point. I also want to make it clear in this video that I'm not discussing whether or not something is canon. I've heard from every type of Fallout fan, from Fallout 76 fans to people who aren't Fallout 76 fans but fan of the series overall. Everybody has mixed views on if Fallout 76 is canon. I've heard pretty like conclusively that it is supposed to be canon, but the Atom Shop isn't canon. But then I've heard from some 76 players that it's a standalone game and that none of it is supposed to be canon in the actual Fallout universe or something like that. I don't know exactly what to believe at this point about it. As far as anything official, I guess I really haven't heard anything official from Bethesda about it myself. So if you do know the answer to whether or not Fallout 76 is supposed to be canon, like the main quest and such, let me know down in the comments, because I honestly do not know if it's supposed to be canon or not, but that's really not the point of my argument. It's more about the vibe of the actual game. It should also be mentioned that a lot of what I think isn't vibing with the Fallout world is coming from the Atom Shop. So if somebody out there is trying to say, oh, that's not canon, that's fine. It still isn't vibing with the Fallout experience, in my opinion. It really takes away from what a post-apocalyptic 25 years after a bunch of, nukes went off. It takes away from this vibe incredibly, and almost to the point where you enter some retcon territory, or at least some like weird lore territory. And again, if we're not dealing with things that are, not canon, I guess you could say that doesn't matter. But again, I'm referring to the grand scheme of things. So when I see a Brotherhood sticker on a set of XO1 power armor, I'm like, that's a little weird, because XO1 is, typically, well, maybe people try to say that, advanced power armor from the Enclave isn't the same as XO1 and that it's different, but I've always thought as the Fallout 4 version of the Enclave power armor. So when I see a Brotherhood logo on it, I'm a little put off by it. There's also that gas robot that, gives gasoline. I'm guessing, I guess I should look more into that, but I'm pretty sure the robot is, handing out, like, gassing itself up and things of that nature. I'm not gonna go through, this video is not about fossil fuels and Fallout. You can do your own research on that. There is instances of it, but it's incredibly rare. That's like one of the main reasons the resource wars started. So, fossil fuel isn't just out there. Now, if he's not using actual gasoline and there's something else in there, then, whatever. His design alone kind of looks a bit wonky to me, but I mean, let's put him aside. There's dolphin power armor that looks atrocious in my opinion and completely takes away from the vibe of Fallout. There's water slides that you can build in your settlement. Well, oh yeah, let's just jump on the water slide, post-apocalyptic. Like, it's taking away so much of the post-apocalyptic vibe for me that it starts to make me very distant to Fallout. Now, that's not its main content, of course. I have only mentioned things from the Atom Shop at this point, but those are the main things that I'm talking about here. Is when you see these things in the Wasteland, when you see these things in Appalachia, it just like completely, totally takes away from the Fallout vibe. And if I'm alone on thinking that, then that's fine, but that's one of my biggest and again, if people want to use those in their settlements, I'm not here to rain on that parade. Use your creativity and have fun. I think that's great. I see a lot of creations that I share on, I retweet them on Twitter. I share them on different social medias when I think they're really cool. And I've never had a problem with people going into their settlements and having a lot of fun and building whatever they want. And if they want to spend money on atoms and use stuff from the settlements and the building stuff from the Atom Shop, by all means, it's your money. Do whatever you want with it and have fun. I've purchased things from the Atom Shop before to use in building homes as well, and I'm going to be using my home actually as an example of just like what I mean by this. I used to play Fallout 76 all the time on Xbox One, but then I switched over to PC, and ever since I switched to PC, I built this home that I currently have, this house that you're looking at now, and it is a shining example of the things that I'm referring to. See, as I'm saying, I don't have a problem with being creative. I did something here, made a house that I don't think fits into the Fallout world at all, but what I'm saying is things of this nature are taking away from what could be something super cool, something super post-apocalyptic, and something way more like in tune with what we know Fallout as, instead of, really nice hardwood floors with nice fire pits and bars everywhere. And this is actually, my house is not a very egregious example. There's some homes that look amazing, by the way. These people spend tons of time. I'm not going to showcase anybody because I don't want anybody to think that I'm like specifically attacking them or something like that, but you can easily go find them yourselves. You can look up build videos, things of that nature. Some people build extravagant, amazing things, and the hard work isn't lost on me. I'm a Sims head from way back in the day. I used to play Sims all the time. I still catch up with all the Sims 4 expansions. I build things all the time. I have a great time with it. That is really fun, and I understand you wanting to have fun like that in the Fallout universe. What I am saying is it would be really nice if they themed these things to be more in tune with what Fallout is. Now, not having water parks and things of that nature, an abandoned water park like Wavy Willards or whatever you find in the Appalachian wasteland, like that's fine, like because you come across it, it's decrepit, it's, you know, old. You can imagine, oh, it'd be cool to see this running, but when you do have one that's working in your settlement and it looks all nice and, and perky, and it just takes away from that Fallout vibe. And I will dwell on that a little bit, you know what I mean? You're probably thinking to yourself, man, you really just don't like these water slides, but it's indicative to the entire message of what I'm trying to put out there of is just, it would be nice if we could just get more post-apocalyptic in our Fallout 76. But my point isn't just focused on the Atom Shop stuff or the side content that you get with Fallout 76, it is also on the main content. A lot of people have asked me my opinion on the newest, you know, Steel Rain expansion that they put out, and I've played through it actually pretty recently. And, you know, it's for what they have going on, for what they've kind of put themselves you know, into the place of with Fallout 76, I don't think it was, you know, pulled off too bad, but it is again something that I see as a bigger problem when it comes to the main content of this game. And it's not that oh, this quest is bad, or oh, these characters are bad, because the character of Dr. Blackburn, by the way, there could be spoilers for Steel Rain moving forward. This is off script, this is a rant style video, so I'm just kind of giving you my opinions raw as they come out of me, so I may get into spoiler territory, watch out for that. But the character of Dr. Blackburn is fantastic. I like him even more because he's voiced by the same guy who did Joshua Graham, so I'm like super into that character anyway. So hearing him again is great, and I like the angle of what they have going on, but I can't help but think that it's just constantly like copy and pasting things from, it's like, oh, so you don't think that 76 has enough Fallout in it? Well, what if we put the storyline of Fallout in it? Like, it's just like, some people would say, well, they're paying homage to the original Fallout game by, you know, Dr. Blackburn pretty much having the exact same plan as the Master, pretty much talking exactly like the Master, and then turning into like a Frank Horrigan from Fallout 2 at the end to fight. Some people would say they're paying homage, and that they're trying to make it seem more, you know, grounded, you know, like, or grounded to the series of like, and you know, on its own, there are differences, and I do think that there was some cool bits of the story, and I will talk about that in a minute. But overall, I do feel like it was largely copied. It's like, oh, and they even bring it up. They're like, oh, don't you remember what happened? Yeah, well, I guess it didn't happen yet because the Master hadn't done anything. So that's actually kind of weird, because the Brotherhood talks about the FEV in 76 as if Fallout 1 has already happened, I think. Now, maybe I'm wrong on this, but I seem to recall one of the Brotherhood soldiers talking to Blackburn and his scientists saying, don't you remember what happened last time? And I feel like they were referring to at the time when I was, you know, watching it, I was like, oh, they're referring to when the Master, you know, dipped all the super mutants, but they're not, because that hadn't happened yet. So that's pretty peculiar. I wonder if that's just an oversight, or if they're referring to a different incident that I don't know about. But that's interesting. I think that's something that we should think about. The part I enjoyed most about Steel Rain was definitely Vault 96. Being inside of like a frozen vault like that was super cool. I think the whole design of it was really interesting, and whoever did all that work, putting, you know, all the ice in there and all that kind of, it spoke to me. I always have liked the vaults in the Fallout series, and I actually think that was pretty cool. I didn't do a deep dive on the lore of what was going on there completely, but it was a really cool environment to check out and to, you know, go through to get to the main bits of the quest, and I really enjoyed seeing that. So that, I think that was a really cool part of Steel Rain. To wrap this long-winded video up, my argument is the same as it really always has been with Fallout 76. If it is canon, and actually it doesn't even really matter, but if you're going to change so much about what the game is, if you're going to change so much about the universe, if you're going to take things that have happened in the classic games and kind of change them to fit this new narrative because this one takes place so soon in the timeline and things of that nature, then just make a different game. Just make a different game, and then nobody can have these complaints. Like, it doesn't have to take place in the Fallout universe if your intent is to not write a game in the Fallout universe. Now, if you want to make a Fallout game and, you know, fill it with all these, it doesn't have to be a repeat of all the stuff, but to, you know, make it in the universe, make it feel post-apocalyptic, make it feel post-apocalyptic in a Fallout way. The retrofuturism that has hooked everybody on the series since the 90s, that's one of the main reasons people get focused and hyped up on the Fallout games is because of the setting. It's because of the universe that this game takes place in, and it's a beautiful universe. I just did a video about how the Fallout universe is beautiful. This is something that I'm always talking about. Just if you're not going to adhere to the universe and the things that make that game what it is, then why make that game? Why not just make a different game? And then you can put whatever you want in it and nobody can say anything about those types of things unless you establish a theme and then break that theme again. But that's, you know, my biggest argument with this. You want water slides and all that kind of stuff. Like, what's the deal with it being in Fallout? I don't understand it. Like, I don't know. And again, have your fun with it. I don't care if people are putting that in their settlement. It doesn't bug me. I share cool looking settlements, even if they don't fit with the Fallout vibe, and I think they look cool. And people spend a lot of work on them. I'm not trying to cheapen that. What I'm trying to say is just like, why not, if you're going to make a Fallout game, why not make it in the Fallout universe? But thank you for listening to my rant about Fallout 76. I appreciate you checking out the video, and I want to give a thanks to my patrons and YouTube channel members, and a special shout out to my biggest supporters: Ian Raleigh, Eric W, Nomad, Popo Hum, Fireflare, JP Rivera, Daniel Adelano, Thomas, Billy Joe Jimbob, Marcus Jacobstown, Legendary Angel 94, Phil Starsick, and Edgy. Thank you guys so much. I couldn't do it without your continued support. It has been Mantis.
I gotta testify. Come up in the spot looking extra fly. For the day you die, you gon' touch the sky. You gon' touch the sky, baby girl. Testify. Come up in the spot looking extra fly. For the day you die,